The Blades Ramble is proudly sponsored by My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. Contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk for more information or follow the link in the description below.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
Love that. What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is 10-minute transfers. That was Matilda Shakes playing us in. Local Sheffield band, Big Blades. Make sure you're following them if you're not already. Oh, my word. We're back again, and things are starting to turn out there in the Ruben Schreier era because we've got another one to talk about. This has been going on 4 or 5 days, I think. Danny Hall first revealed it. And then ever since, it was in line with the Ash Phillips link, which appears to be no longer happening. I'm going to try my best, by the way, to get through this within the 10 minutes. I know I can go on, ramble on, but I am trying my best to keep it within the 10 minutes this time. I need to get better at that because, yeah, I can go on for a bit. So, Alfie Devine has been on loan, as you can see here, at Westerlo this season in the Belgian Pro League. Sheffield United have been linked to him. As I say, it was a little bit... it was like a dual deal that we were interested in with Ash Phillips, the centre-half that we talked about last Friday, and Alfie, who's a number 10, predominantly. Can play as a second striker, can drop back into an 8 if we need it, but predominantly is a number 10. Do we need a number 10 is my first question, because we've got Gus Emer who can play there, we've got Callaware who definitely plays there, and we don't yet know what system we're going to be using. So is this just a player that's been identified through a data system that shows he could well fit the mould of a young prospect at Sheffield United, a player that we could invest in for the future? Or somebody that's going to make an impact straight away? But I find that hard to believe when you usually only play with one number 10 in a side. You can play with two, but it leaves you quite narrow usually because you'd have probably 3 midfielders behind and 1 up top. It's a really sort of interesting link because it leans me towards thinking it must be a permanent deal because Alfie wouldn't come in and, if we're playing with a 10, Alfie wouldn't come in and take Callum O'Hare out of the side. It'd be very, very unlikely. I don't know for sure because Ruben Sellis is untested for Sheffield United, isn't he? But Callum O'Hare gets in front of Alfie Devine all day long at number 10. So that makes me think the link itself, if there's any substance to it, then, which I know that United have been talking to him, if there's going to be any legs to it going forward, is it going to be a permanent deal? Because a loan for the season doesn't make sense to me personally. And we'll get into it, and we'll get into a little bit about why. But again, we're using our two sites that are also reliable for the Ramble. FotMob, which tells you a little bit about the stats and how they've played throughout the last season. And we can go deeper than that if we need, but I'm not a huge stats man, as you know. And Transfer Market, which tells you a little about his contract situation and who his agent is and all this sort of thing, his market value and stuff. So they have him, on Transfer Market, they have him valued currently at €3.5 million. So I've rounded it to around £3 million. He's contracted at Tottenham till 2027. Currently playing at Westerlo, or certainly did for the previous season. How did he get on at Westerlo? So we're switching over to FotMob now. And that tells us that he played in 30 games for Westerlo. I don't know the standard of the Belgian Pro League. It's a bit like what we were talking about with Top Coup yesterday. The Turkish League has got a bit of a stronger reputation than the Belgian League, I would say. Again, subjective. We're going to have to be quite open-minded with a lot of these signings, I think, because how do we judge the level? It's a little bit like the data model in itself. When you are purchasing players from, like domestically, like we are so used to doing at Sheffield United, you know the level. We know the level that they're coming from. So as a transfer target, we could say Harrison Burrows, for example, has done brilliantly in a Peterborough side in League One. Player of the season in League One. their player of the year, young lad. Pluck him out of there. He's got a decent chance at championship level, and he's done more than a decent job. He got in the team of the season. He's had a really strong season for Sheffield United. It's a natural path of progress. But what level are these players that we are being targeted at now? Alfie Devine, just to go back a little bit, was in a very similar situation to young Ollie Arblaster, the lad who always opens us up at the start of the shows. Blades fans, subscribe to Blade Ramble, all the Blades. Top man, Ollie Arblaster, captain of United now, has obviously gone on to become a significant part of our squad. Suffered a terrible injury, which we're all gutted about, but hopefully next season he will be a real player for us, and hopefully wears the armband for me. Port Vale had Ollie Arblaster on their books from August 2023 to January 2024. It might have even been December of 23, because he got a horrific injury. But Wilder essentially were calling him back because he wanted to play him in that Premier League season. That short period of time on loan at Port Vale massively accelerated Arblaster's growth as a player. He went from being a good player in their side to being the player in their side. And when he left, they tanked and ended up getting relegated. Well, another player who had a significant impact in that Port Vale side on loan from Tottenham was Alfie Devine, who also left in January because he got recalled to Tottenham for some reason. Or he went on loan to Plymouth. That's why again, Footmob coming in with the save at the last minute. So he was on loan at Port Vale in League One with Ollie Arblaster, got recalled and sent back out to Plymouth in the Championship because he'd done that well. He played 26 times for Port Vale in that short stint from August to January. 26 times, scored 3 goals, playing in that number 10 role. So knows Ollie Arblaster. Whether that has been a link in this transfer, whether we've spoken to Ollie, I know under Chris Wilder that would have been the case. Whether Ruben Sellers puts much credence in what our captain says, is still the captain to me, but we'll have to wait and see. At Plymouth, he played 15 times in the Championship, and then last season, it was on loan at Westerlo in Belgium, and he's had the full season there pretty much from September, and he played, they've got him down as 32 times overall. In terms of the first division, playing league games, he played 30 games. He started 22 of them, so he's come off the bench in a fair few of them. But so has Callum O'Hare for us, for example. It doesn't mean Callum O'Hare isn't a top player for Sheffield United just because he's not started every game. He got 6 goals and 1 assist. His rating was pretty strong. They got him as a 7 rating overall. Now, that is quite subjective, but it's stats-based from Footmob. 3 yellow cards, played a lot of minutes throughout the season. And whenever it looks like he's had a decent year out there. But again, we struggled to know the level. So he was expected to score just over 5 goals, and this is how they break it down with stats. And he scored 6. So he's outperformed his XG. That's what they say. His expected goals, the position he's got into, he was expected to score just over 5 goals, which I appreciate. You can't have a portion of a goal. But he scored 6 goals from, he's outperformed that. So he should have had more assists than he got, according to his stats. Successful dribbles, not great. He got 15 successful dribbles, got tackled more often than not. Only got just over 41% of his dribbles right. So he's not a great ball carrier from these stats. And again, we can't always go just based on stats. But he did win a lot of tackles. 69% of his tackles were won. That tells me, as a number 10, he's very good in the high press, which Callum O'Hare is our standout player in terms of leading the high press. But if you are robbing the ball high up the pitch, that is a good statistic to have. So, again, we're not going to go too stats heavy. I don't want to focus too much on it. I just wanted to give you a little overview. And how are we doing for time? Oh, we're doing great for time. So I wanted to give you a little overview as to what he's like as a player. Again, for me, this comes down to whether it's a permanent or a loan. Doesn't strike me as somebody who will come in and make an immediate difference on the first team. So a loan would be out of the question for me in terms of what I could get excited about. I wouldn't be happy with it particularly. I'll still give him a chance, obviously, because whoever comes in and wears the red and white, we will give him a chance. But it doesn't excite me to bring a player like this in on loan. However, if it's a change in strategy like we talked about with the potential Ash Phillips deal, and we are looking to sign him permanently, sign me up, because I'm all for high potential players on long-term contracts at Sheffield United, and we'll see what we can do developing him over the long term. But it's not about what I think. You get your comments in. Let me know. I read every single one of them. Because of the turnover of videos at the moment, I can't always reply to them all, but it all feeds into how I present stuff on the channel. So I will always sort of read your comments, and that sort of fuels how we address things, and comments that FX Pilot had sort of given me some advice the other day and stuff like that we talked about on the channel. So thank you to everybody for watching. If you're not already and you do like the content that we're producing, please do subscribe to the channel if you're not already. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blades!